Hi, I'm Mr. Miyagi and this is Mr. Miyagi's workshop. Well, today we're going to talk about seats. Now, you can see that I ended up getting a little seat for this bike here that I'm building for my wife. But I don't really like it. I mean, it's nice. It'd be great on a bobber and everything. I would love to put the old bike seat back on, but it has a problem. You ask, what kind of a problem? Well, the seat cover needs to be replaced. And the frame is totally rusty. It is a mess. So can I save it? Well, that's what this video is all about. How to save the old seat frame. See what we can do to bring this back to life. Now, there's certain stuff that you can put on it. We're going to use some of this DeRusto Navy gel, and hopefully that'll cut a lot of that rust off of there. And I know a lot of you guys don't have sandblasters and such, so that's why we're going to go with the Navy gel, and this is an easy solution. So let's get set up for that and see what happens. Okay, you can see that I've set up a little table here with some plastic on it. One of the other things you'll need to do is you'll need to knock off the heavy rust. So I've got a wire brush here that I'm just brushing this with. Now this is for the guys that don't have a sandblaster. I do, but I'm going to do this all old school just to show you that it can be done. Now there's a lot of places that look pretty rough, but you want to get rid of this flaking and everything in here as much as possible. Fairly well clean. I've got a lot of the heavy deposits are off here. I took an old screwdriver that had a really messed up tip, filed it at an angle there so that I could get in to get some of these other little spots that are hard. Yeah, it's got good support for the hand and you can work it around. It's just an old screwdriver that I had. I've got a little container here that I can put some gel into. So we'll pour a little gel in there. It just makes it easier to get it on the brush. Won't need a lot right at the moment. I'm going to put on some gloves. And then I just have a cheap brush that I got from the hardware store. So what we're just going to do is we're just going to smooth this on there best we can. And let this work. Now we may have to do, like I said, we may have to do this several times to get it down to where we'll have a nice surface. I can already smell this stuff. You kind of want to do this in a well-ventilated area because there is a chemical reaction that works on this. And we will be doing the underside of this seat too, but right now I wanted to work on this area to get this thing. Now I know some of the guys out there, the gals are out there asking, well, why didn't you just buy another seat? Well, like I said, I bought that little seat there, but it doesn't fit quite well. And I've seen used seats on eBay. And in the past, I've bought old seats. The problem is, I get them here, they're in worse shape than what I got, you know. It's like they want $100 for this piece of junk. So why not just save what you got? All right. Well, now that I've got this applied on there, I think I'm going to do a little bit around the edges here. And I have rebuilt seats that are worse condition than this. So they can be saved. We hope. All right, so now we just let the solution do its trick. Whatever it does, dissolves all this. So we have to let it sit. They say, you know, let them sit 10 minutes. I like to let them sit at least a half an hour before rinsing them off with fresh water. Okay, you can see that it kind of turned it white a little bit. What I did is I rinsed this off with fresh water and then let it dry. And that's using the navy gel. Now we're going to need to coat this thing. You want to coat this, probably within 24 hours of doing this. It just helps keep the rust from coming back, because you do have a lot of bare metal now. I mean, you can really see this in there. So what you can use like this conversion from Eastwood, or you can use some Oswald. That is a coating, paintable and such, or you can go to your local auto parts store and get some of this rust inhibitor. I'm not sure what I'm going to use on this. Whatever I do, I'm going to coat this and let it sit. So I think what I'm going to do right now, since I've used this product a lot on when I was doing the Delica, I think I'll just go ahead, and it's an easy application. It's just a spray on. And you just give it a liberal coat. Here again, I probably should be at least wearing one glove that I'm flipping this. So this goes on fairly easy. Now you'll want to let this set up a good 24 hours. I'm going to let this sit overnight. And this is good for like any bare rusty areas. Okay, you can see that this had set probably way over 24 hours. Now I started out with this stuff and it was kind of doing the job, but I went and sprayed it down with this the Rush conversion. So it turned it pretty darn black and everything, and it's cleaned it up. I mean, I cleaned up all the rust and everything on it the best I could. So it's looking pretty good. But the problem we have here, and you can see that this is all ate up here. So we're going to have to add material to that so that the seat actually has, the seat cover actually has something to attach to. And then there's this part of the frame here on the seat pan is cracked out, so I'm going to have to repair that. Now I realize a lot of you guys out there don't have welders, or if you do, you've not real certain about whether you want to weld on something this thin, and it takes a little finesse to get it that way. Now I have a TIG welder, so I can variate my temperatures of what I'm welding at. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you a different aspect on how to actually add material on here without a welder. And we're also going to accomplish pulling out these broken off screws in here and then cleaning the threads up. Alright, so what we're going to need to do to pull these screws is that we're going to have to center punch them. Now these are a kind of a cool little device. I think even Harbor Freight has these. They're just a push. Matter of fact, yeah, this is a Harbor Freight one. It's slightly longer than my really expensive one, and it still accomplishes the same thing. It's got a little spring action in there that drives this little point and gives you a set point that you can drill to. So that's something that you might keep in mind. I don't think it was all that much. I don't know, $4 or $5. I don't know. Anyway, so now what we're going to do is that we need to take a smaller drill bit and drill down through the center of that. Now you want to try to get that as close to center as possible. All right. So you can see that we've come all the way straight through on those. Alrighty, we've drilled all the way through. We're going to step it up again. This is a 13/64, and what I've figured out that these bolt holes here are 6x1 threads on this, so we'll go through with the tap once I've gotten this drilled out. Now you want to take your time going through this so you're not bunging up anything. And here again, don't get in a hurry, just slowly work it through. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to clean up the threads. I'm going to cheat a little bit here. Now you got to be careful if you're doing it with the drill. So those are done. Now we'll clean up these guys while we're at it. Now we have one over here that we have to take out, and then we have two over here. So you've seen the process. I'm going to go ahead and take these out. Okay, you can see that I've been putting some little lubricant on there. This is a kind of a paste, and it's called Anchor Lube. I've used this for years. You can find it online. Just go under Anchor Lube. It's an 8-ounce bottle, and if it gets down a little ways, you can add a little water to spread it up. Because a lot of times it'll dry out on you and whatever, and you just add water to it. But it's really good for doing drilling out and lubricating your bits and your taps. Anyway, there's a bit of an information for you. All right. I put the hinges back on and the catch piece. I just wanted to make sure that everything lined up and everything was working properly. So I'm going to strip these off, and then we'll get to fixing this outer trim on here. You don't want these in the way. Now, part of the problem with these seat pans is once they get rusted out, the way that the material of the seat is held on underneath here is these little, I don't know if you can make that out, but there's these little sharp edges here that you pull the material over and stick it on there, and then there's a trim edge that goes around this. Well, a lot of times you can't find that stuff, and when you're trying to repair that, sometimes that doesn't go as well as you want. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to finish doing the repairs on the bolt areas, and then we'll move on to this. I got to make a patch to fit over this because this is all cracked out and we don't want it to crack anymore. And the other ones all look pretty good, so it's just this one hinge. So I'm going to go make a patch and put on there, and then I'll show you how I'm going to put it on. Okay, we got an area here that we're going to patch, and what I've got here is just a piece of light gauge steel, about the same thickness. I think this is 20 gauge. And normally I'd weld this all up, but I know that a lot of you guys out there don't have a welder to speak of, so I'm going to show you how you can patch this. Right now we'll punch a hole. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out where I can line this up so I can miss all the little cracks and everything, and we'll drill a hole. So what I've got here is some pop rivets. Yeah, I know. Some of you guys out there, well, why don't you just weld it? Well, like I said, we've got some people that don't have welders, and this is a nice way to attach the metal. And then these pop rivets are relatively inexpensive. So basically all you're going to do, pop rivet that on. We're going to drill another hole over here. I think I'll use the pilot drill. Now these are 1/8 inch pop rivets that I'm using. So I'm going to continue on here and do a little bit more, and then I'll come back and show you how we get the holes in this area. Okay, you can see that I've gotten this patch in here. Fit it a little better. So we have to get the bolts through on this side here. So what I want to do is I want to find a drill bit that's just undersized that a little bit, and I'll drill through. So yeah, this is going to move this hinge out just a hair, but I don't think it's going to go out far enough to where it's going to be a problem. Okay, I'm going to take this over and fit it on the bike and make sure everything lines up right. Well, that fit pretty good, other than me putting that front hinge on backwards, but that was an easy fix. Just unscrew it and put it back on. So this all fits up in there. Now what I'm going to need to do now is that we're going to need to focus on this, all of this trim work around here, the edge. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to cut some more lightweight steel here and see if I can't form an edge around here. Okay, so what I've done now is I've cut a piece that I'm going to shape into this side over here. This side, I mean, it's pretty well gone. So we're going to try to find the best places to attach this and make it work. Okay, so basically what I've done here is I've attached a nice little trim piece to the outside, trying to even up this area so I have some place to attach. I'm going to have to go through here and hit different points to get this, and then cut this a little bit in sections and roll this edge so that it lays into the tray area here. So now I'm just going to go along and drill in new holes. So you can see that it's forming along their time doing this. Well, I got an edge on here now. You see how that's straightened it all up. Now we'll be able to hide a lot of this with when we put the seat cover on. We're going to paint this beforehand and clean it up, but it's coming right along. This looks pretty good. This area through here, like I said, it's not bad. It could be a little better. Well, I went ahead and did both sides of them, and looks pretty good. Needs a little paint now. I think then we can start fitting the foam and the seat on it then. So I think I'm going to spray paint this thing and get it to where it's ready to apply upholstery and everything else. So that's tomorrow's project. Well, I was going to show you this morning how to lay the foam and fit the seat cover, but the seat cover that I got was the wrong one. Now either I ordered the wrong one or they sent me the wrong one. I've got a new one coming, so hopefully that one will fit. But anyway, that was a good example on how to save your old seat pans. So if you've liked this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that ringy-dingy button for the next episode coming up. I also want to mention at this time, don't forget to get those videos in for your XS650, whether it's finished project or just a bunch of pieces on the floor. Just tell us what's going on, and like I said, I'm going to be making a video of a collection of montage of those videos, put it together in August. Remember, they have to be in by July 31st, 2021. Thanks. So this is Mr. Miyagi saying be safe out there. Hope to see you on the road. Ciao.